My favorite 25 movies of the past 25 years. Hi, how are you? So one of my favorite podcasts is The Rewatchables. And this week on their podcast, the host made a list of the top 50 movies of the quarter century. And I listened to it and I agreed with about half of the movies that he listed. And then he listed a whole bunch of movies like, really? That's in... And I don't like scary movies. I don't like violent movies. I like really fun movies. And I like, if it's a thriller movie, I like it. Action movies I love, but I don't like to be scared, and I don't like a lot of violence. So my movie picks are going to be a little different. But these aren't just what I think are the top movies or the best movies of the past 25 years. These are the movies these are my favorites. The ones that I constantly watch all over again, and the ones that I have to have on DVD, because I love to collect DVDs, as you can see. So I'm just going to go down these and hold up the DVD and talk a little bit about each movie and some of my thoughts about it, and I'll try to keep a good pace. So number 25, Air. This movie, Matt Damon and Ben Affleck are back together again. I think they've made 2 or 3 movies? 4 movies. Anyway, they've made a few movies together, but anyway. So Ben Affleck directs this, and it's also got Viola Davis. Viola Davis. I don't know why that was so hard for me to say. Sorry. Anyway, she's fantastic. It's about how Nike Corporation signed Michael Jordan and how they convinced him to sign with the Nike Air Jordan shoe. And it's all behind the scenes working, and it's really well directed. It's got every 1984 song. They must have spent so much money of their budget on the music rights in order to use so much of the songs that are in this movie. But here's the thing. I love movies set in offices. I love them. Something about a team of people working in an office or a headquarters and organizing things and the behind the scenes workings. I love All the President's Men, people on telephones, solving a mystery, or how the heck are they going to pull this off? And I also like to see the behind the scenes workings of how something happens. And this screenwriter, when you write, as you know, when you write, you do a lot of research, right? Whether you're writing a screenplay or whether you're writing an essay paper for school, you do a lot of research, and you put a lot of research into what you've written, and you end up having to take out half of that because you're supposed to kill your darlings or take out what's unnecessary. But in this case, the screenwriter clearly did a lot of research about Nike and this whole situation, and I found what he left in to be just so fascinating. I learned so much about the origin of Nike and why it functions and its rules and its principles and how they, things about the NBA that I didn't know, and rules, because I'm not a basketball fan. I like baseball. And other than that, I really like arts, but I'm not really into sports, and I don't really care about basketball. But they made me care about this situation in the basketball thing because they combined it with the inner workings of The Office. Anyway, it's a really good movie. I really love Air, and you might too. And it's a really recent movie. I think it came out 2023. And so I saw this and I was like, oh, this is one of my favorite Office movies now. Anyway, The Great Gatsby. 2013. Leonardo DiCaprio and Carey Mulligan, directed by, he made Moulin Rouge and Romeo and Juliet, Baz Luhrmann. And I've seen the Robert Redford version. There's also another version of The Great Gatsby with the Bond villain from Die Another Day with Pierce Brosnan. The Bond villain on that also played Gatsby in another movie with Mira Sorvino. And those are just nothing compared to this Gatsby, which is sweeping camera movies, and the party is huge. Well, the thing about the other Gatsby movies is they didn't have much of a budget. You could just tell. This one had a big budget, and man, Baz just totally used it because they got Leonardo, and once you get an A-list star, you probably get a bigger budget, and man, the camera work and just the party aspect of it is just, it's breathtaking to watch. And the performances are great, and Leonardo's fantastic in it. He really goes for it. And I just love The Great Gatsby. And I was, my next novel comes out in a month or two, and while I was writing it over the past 12 years, I thought a lot about Gatsby. And I listened to the orchestral soundtrack of Gatsby a lot while I was writing. And so this movie just has, it's very personal to me, because it's just kind of, I've watched it over and over, and I've listened to the soundtrack over and over. And so anyway, I really like Gatsby, and I think it's one of my favorites of the past 25 years. Lost in Translation, Scarlett Johansson and Bill Murray. I like movies that take place in one location, like Die Hard, like Breakfast Club, and the location almost becomes another character. So it's all in the hotel and in Tokyo. And I freaking love this movie. And it's quiet. I like Sofia Coppola. I like her movies. She's subtle. It's a quiet direction. You don't fully understand what's happening or how she's guiding you through the movie, but it's happening, and you slowly get involved with the characters. And that's one of the things, she gets you involved with these characters, but also moves the story along and at a brisk pace, but it's delightful. I love Sofia Coppola's movies. They're just delightful the way they feel. And Lost in Translation, I think, is her best. And Bill Murray's hilarious, and it's just, it makes me want to travel. It makes me go stay at this hotel. Anyway, I love it. Inception. Okay, here's the thing. I like Christopher Nolan. I do. And if you're a Christopher Nolan fan, I have total respect for you. His third acts fall apart. I like the first two acts of Christopher Nolan movies, and then when he gets to the third act, something happens and I get really confused. And other things happen that maybe shouldn't be happening, like in The Dark Knight. I want to see Batman and Joker fight and duke it out like they did in 1989 Batman. But instead, Christopher Nolan introduces these two boats. I don't care about the boats. I want to see Batman and the Joker fight. That's all I really care about. But, and he does this in the third acts of several of his movies. Batman Begins. I don't care about what's going on in the city. I want to see Batman be Batman. And in Interstellar, Matthew McConaughey falls down a black hole into some kind of maze that's fourth dimensional with time. I get confused. I don't understand what's happening in the third act of Christopher Nolan's movies. But I like the first two acts, and Inception is no exception. His third act is like, once they go into the big dream within a dream within a dream, it's like, what are we doing? And I like it, and I appreciate the third act, but the first two acts are just absolutely fantastic. And so it has to go on my list. And I'm curious, do you feel this about Christopher Nolan movies too? Do you get confused in the third act? It's good, but it's just, what is happening? Anyway, do you have that same experience? Days of Future Past X-Men. This is the X-Men that combined Patrick Stewart and the old cast with, the new cast. And they do such a good job. Michael Fassbender's in it, and it's just so great. And they go time traveling, and the action is great, and the story's great, and the stakes are really high. And man, I just love this movie. My thought about this movie is that, the character who travels really fast and he gets, Magneto out of prison. Spoiler alert. Of course, it's not a spoiler alert after you say the spoiler, so I don't know what the phrase is. Spoiler, sorry? After you say the spoiler? Anyway, the fast character who is in the first half of the movie, then he gets on a plane and you don't see that character anymore. And I was thinking, well, why did they get rid of that character? Why doesn't that character stick around? It's because that character, for the rest of the movie, could solve all their problems like that, because he moves so fast. But you have to get rid of that character, otherwise there's nothing for the other characters to do, because that fast character would solve all the plot problems. So that's the one thing I don't like about this movie, is they get rid of the best character, the really fast character, the funny character. You get rid of them so halfway through. But other than that, I think it's a really good movie. What are your thoughts? Unstoppable. This is like Speed with Keanu. Once that train gets going, So it's a train instead of a bus. Once this train gets going, the movie just takes off and does not stop until the end. It's unstoppable. It's just, the pace is just, man, it's really good. I just love it. And Denzel and Chris Pine are just so freaking good in this. And it's directed by Tony Scott. And I think have this right. Tony Scott directed Top Gun. He directed Days of Thunder. He directed Crimson Tide, which is fantastic and would totally be on my list but Crimson Tide came out in 1995. And so Quentin Tarantino was on the Rewatchables, and they reviewed Unstoppable because this is the movie that Quentin picked, and he wanted to talk about it. And I'd never seen it, and Quentin's enthusiasm for Unstoppable made me run out and buy the DVD because I just had to watch it because it's like, okay, what am I missing out on? And it's good. It's really good movie. And one of the things that Quentin pointed out is that there's a difference between a director and a selector. And Quentin is a director, meaning he said that he designs each shot, what the shot is going to look like, how it's going to be composed, and how it's going to be lit, and then he films exactly what he planned. Whereas Tony Scott will use 12 different cameras around the same scene, and then in the editing room selects what's the best shot for that scene. So the difference between a director and a selector. So he's a director, but he uses multiple cameras and then decides in the editing room which camera shot he's going to use. And I thought that was such an interesting distinction because I hadn't really thought about that before. And I'm sure, lots of directors have used multiple cameras to get a shot, especially when they shot, Temple of Doom and they cut that rope bridge. They had, 12 different cameras on that too because they only got one chance to cut that rope bridge and then it fell. And that's it. I mean, what are they going to do? Spend a month trying to refasten that bridge? So they had 12 different cameras to shoot that when the bridge fell apart. And so sometimes you got to have multiple cameras. But Tony Scott uses multiple cameras all the time to just get the right shot. And I thought that was just an interesting bit of knowledge that I hadn't heard before. Anyway, it's a really great movie. Really great movie, Unstoppable. Mean Girls. Which one are we at? We're at 19. Mean Girls. Tina Fey wrote this. Her humor is just so... She notices things I'd never noticed before. And her just subtlety and her commentary about her social commentary is interweaved with the comedy of it. She's just such a good writer. And I guess it's based on a book also. One thing I noticed that Mean Girls is also almost the same plot as Devil Wears Prada. You have the nice character and the mean character. And as the story goes on, the nice character sort of becomes like the mean character and then loses the boyfriend and then has to learn to not be mean anymore and becomes nice again at the end. So it's kind of like the same plot as Devil Wears Prada, but it's written so good. It moves, it's funny, it moves at a pace, and when Lacey Chabert kicks that radio into the guy's face during the Christmas thing, oh my God, I laughed so hard. Closer. Okay. This came out in 2004. We're at number 18 here. Closer. Julia Roberts, Jude Law, Natalie Portman, and Clive Owen. I wish I'd seen Clive Owen. I wish he had had a bigger career. I guess he's still going. But he also was in Inside Man, the Spike Lee movie about robbing a bank, which is a great movie. And it probably would have been number 26 on my list, but I only kept it to 25. So Closer is about four characters and how they... their behavior and how they interact with each other and how their lives cross paths. And I guess it was based on a play. And if I ever write a play, I want it to be similar to Closer, where you got just a few characters and they all interact with each other and how that goes and the drama between each one and where's the story going to go? And oh my gosh, I didn't see that coming. And did Julia Roberts just say that? There's moments like that. And man, I really enjoyed Closer. I thought it's a really, really good movie. If you haven't seen Closer, I think it's Mike Nichols' last movie. Mike Nichols, like The Birdcage, The Graduate, lots of Broadway shows or plays. And Closer is really great. I totally recommend it. My leg is falling asleep, so I want to switch legs. Oh, God. Usually I stand or sit on a chair. Anyway, I'm going to sit down here for this one, up in the air. I'm down on the floor, but this is up in the air. So, boom, boom. So George Clooney, Vera Farming, I can't get her name right, Anna Kendrick. 2008 was the big crash, financial crash, and it put a lot of people out of work. And I just kind of obsessed about movies about the 2008 financial crash. There was The Big Short, Margin Call, Wall Street 2, Too Big to Fail, directed by Curtis Hanson, who also did, I can't remember what other movies he did. Really good. And then there was the documentary Inside Job. So the 2008 crash and what happened afterwards, kind of became obsessed with all those movies. And Up in the Air I have to include that because this is about people who are hired by other companies to come in and fire the employees. And because in 2008, a lot of companies went out of business, they had to let a lot of employees go. And so that's what this company does. Except George Clooney and Ender Kennick, their chemistry is great, and George and Vera's chemistry is great. And the movie, again, this is another movie set in an office or on a plane going to offices. And I just love watching people work in offices. And so, but it's again, a lot of interesting information about, clearly this person did a lot of research about how this organization or how these companies fire people and how you do it. And should it be done with technology or should it be done in person, and the traveling. And, I love movies where they travel a lot of places. Anyway, this is one of those movies when I'm cooking in the kitchen, I have on in the background, and I've watched this movie like 1,000 times. I just love it so good. And it's, is it George's last chance for love? And anyway, Up in the Air is really well written, really well directed. And Moneyball with Brad Pitt, Jonah Hill, Philip Seymour Hoffman. Okay, I had no idea that the Oakland A's, because I was living in San Francisco at the time this happened, and I really wasn't paying attention to the baseball at that time. But it was just, how did this escape that they won 20 games in a row? And then they made a movie about it, and it's just really interesting. Again, it's one of the movies set in an office, talking about the behind-the-scenes working of how they're going to do this, how they're going to turn the team around, and how they're going to, how they're going to do this, and the procedures and the inner. Anyway. I really enjoy Moneyball. And the thing about Moneyball is it's written by Aaron Sorkin, so lots of snappy dialogue. And he does these things throughout the script where the character, it doesn't need to be in there, but the character says it anyway just to sound human. It's like Jonah Hill's character says, yeah, I analyzed 47 players. Actually, I analyzed 52. I don't know why I lied just then. Why does the character say that? He doesn't need to say that in a screenplay, but it's put in there just to show the character's humanity. And also, Robin Wright later says, she calls Brad Pitt and she says, oh, I thought I was going to get the answering machine I didn't think you were going to pick up. You don't need to have that in the screenplay. Normally that would be cut, but it's in there as it just makes the character seem more human and more flawed and imperfect. And it's just those small touches that Aaron Sorkin does. I love it. And it's just how they use music and how they build up. And gosh, yeah, I love this movie so much. Anyway, Twisters. I like the first Twister movie. What, that came out in 95? And then Twisters came out, and I thought, oh, they're making a sequel. And I watched it, and it was so freaking good. I can't believe how good Twisters is. And so good that I had to get it on Blu-ray. And Glenn Powell and Daisy Edgar Jones are great in it. The chemistry between them. And, I saw Glenn Powell in Maverick, and now I saw him in Twisters. Like, oh, that's the next movie star. It's just so obvious. And it's directed really well. They're lighting fireworks inside tornado. It's just really cool. And the first opening scene where the big dramatic tornado, and it's just, anyway, Twisters is a lot better than I thought it was going to be. And so, what is it on my list now? It's number 15 on my list of the best movies of the past 25 years. That says a lot. The Big Short. again, we go back to 2008 financial crisis. And this is one of the best movies about that. I really enjoyed the performance of Christian Bale and Stephen Carell, and it's directed so good. It explains so clearly what happened, and it tells it in a very human way because you get to know the characters, and it's very funny and yet very emotional and very also, working in an office, very financial, very numbers, very logical. How are we going to do this? And it's about all these guys who short the market because they know that the whole financial system is going to collapse. And it's one of the best movies about 2008 that I've seen. La La Land. We're at number 13? Yeah, 13. La La Land. I mean, good golly. The first scene on the freeway where they're all dancing, how do they film that scene? I watch it every time thinking, oh my God, they only had like 1 or 2 days to film that entire thing. They blocked off a freeway and they have 300 different dancers dancing around cars on the freeway? It's insane. This was not done on a back lot. They practiced on back lots, rehearsed, but then when they were out on the freeway, it was real. They were doing it. And I always love to watch, where did they make the cut? Because they're filming it as one big long scene. And I just love to say, where did they make the cut for those scenes and between the dancing? And, the rest of the movie is fantastic. It's a big homage to all the great movies, the Singing in the Rain, all those musicals that my mother made me watch because she loves musicals. Singing in the Rain and American in Paris and Seven Brides for Seven Brothers and White Christmas and all those movies. This is an homage to all of them, and the cinematography and the dancing and the singing and the spectacle. I mean, this is almost like a Baz Luhrmann spectacle, and I still don't know about the ending. It's like, do I like the ending? Do I not like the ending? But the ending really is appropriate, but it also gets me really emotional about the ending. Is it satisfying? Is it not satisfying? Does this ending support the theme of the, of the whole story? Anyway, La La Land. It's phenomenal. It has to be on the list. Mission Impossible 3. Okay, this is number 12. I love all the Mission Impossible movies. I frickin' love them. I've watched them all, over 20 times each. In fact, I was just watching Dead Reckoning, the final Reckoning yesterday. Slower than it probably should have been, but still as a good homage to the whole series. I thought it was great. Mission Impossible 3 was frickin' fantastic. I like Mission Impossible 2 probably more than most, but it really focused mostly on Tom Cruise. But they got J.J. Abrams, and he got the team back together. He saved this franchise. J.J. Abrams did, because Tom Cruise, J.J. Abrams, this is J.J. Abrams' first movie. He had done the TV show Felicity, he had done Alias, and Tom Cruise saw Alias, and he thought, man, I want the whole Alias thing applied to Mission Impossible. So we hired JJ to direct the next movie, and JJ's use of cinematography and plot and pace and surprises and character things, and just the way, if you're an Alias fan, if you enjoy that, you totally appreciate what he does in Mission Impossible 3. And then you got the huge stunts of jumping off the buildings, and Philip Seymour Hoffman's performance. Philip Seymour Hoffman was the best villain in all of the Mission Impossible movies. I mean, hands down. So good. And when I watched this movie in the theater, I was like, that's amazing. This is amazing. This is amazing. The whole time. I couldn't believe it. And I totally understand why J.J. Abrams was hired to, redo Star Trek, redo Star Wars, and it all started with this, Mission Impossible 3. I think it's my favorite movie of the Mission Impossible franchise. And it's got a love story. I'm a sucker for a love story. And it's great. Ex Machina. We are to number 11. Ex Machina. It's like, oh my gosh. If AI gets control, is this what it's going to do? Is this a warning? It's structured so well. The performances are really great. The cinematography is fantastic. You know, those shots of the waterfalls are fantastic outside, but then inside it's really intimate with the clothes, with the hallways and the glass and the use of music and what's going to happen. And I think I know what's going to happen, but how's it going to happen? And is it really going to happen? And oh my gosh, I didn't expect that, even though I saw it sort of coming. And the performances, golly, this is a good movie. It really makes you think, and it makes you worry about AI. It really freaks you out. At the same time, you're being mesmerized. It's just clearly one of the best movies of the past 25 years. Sideways. Now, I did an episode on my YouTube channel where I talked about the sideways effect because Paul Giamatti's character says, "I am not drinking any Merlot," which caused a huge dip in Merlot sales, Merlot wine sales, for a few years because of that. And I love this movie. I love this movie so much. This is another one of those movies that I put on while I'm cooking, and I just totally listen to it. Half the time because the DVD commentary, if you want a DVD commentary, this is one of the best ones with, I almost Philip Hoffman, but Paul Giamatti and Thomas Hayden Church. They're so freaking funny in their director commentary or their cast commentary. It's so good. And the movie's really great. It's a road trip. They're tasting wine. So it's really fun. They're dealing with love, but not falling in love. I mean, the monologues that they do in the middle of this movie when they're at the house and they're talking about wine and you could see Paul falling in love with her. And it's just, I love this. This is one of the most important movies of the past 25 years. It's just so freaking good. And if I was going to ever make a movie, it would probably be something like this. Anyway, another note, this came out in 2004? I was working I was a temp in San Francisco. At the time, in 2005, so about a year after this came out, I was working for Make-A-Wish. I was as a temp for about 6 months because they were organizing one of their croquet charity events that was going to be up in Napa or Sonoma wine country. And we were receiving donations from, people that we could give away as gifts. Like we got a guitar, an electric guitar signed by the band members of Journey. And we were giving away trips and wine. And one of the things we were also giving away was copies of Sideways because it was a wine charity event and Sideways has to do with wine. And so that's how I came to understand this movie and know of it, is because we were constantly giving it away. Anyway, I just thought I'd add that. Casino Royale. Where are we? We are number 9. I was debating whether to do Casino Royale or Skyfall, and I have to choose Skyfall or Casino Royale. They're both excellent, but Casino Royale rebooted the whole James Bond franchise, and I am a James Bond fan. I've got all the James Bond movies on Blu-ray box set, and I've watched all of them. I love the car chases and the stunts and the traveling and the gadgets and James Bond, how's he going to get out of this one, and the suaveness but the thing about the James Bond movies is they're really campy. At least they were before this one. And Casino Royale it's played for serious. It's got some humor in it, but I mean, Daniel Craig is just knockout fantastic. It's like, oh, he's Bond. He's quirky, he's funny, he's stern, but he could also, this guy's ruthless also. And he's just a fantastic Bond. And I love Casino Royale. It's so good. And I could talk, endlessly about it, but that's all I'll say for now. Casino Royale. So where are we now? Number 8, The Martian. I was watching a movie reaction the other day, and they were talking, I think it was watching Interstellar. Somebody on YouTube was reacting to Interstellar. And they came to the Matt Damon part. Spoiler alert. Spoiler, sorry. Because I've already said the spoiler. So, and they mentioned, is Matt Damon saved in every movie that he's in? And I thought about that. He gets saved in The Martian. He gets saved in Interstellar. In Good Will Hunting, Robin Williams' character saves him, in a manner of speaking. And I was trying to think, is Matt Damon get saved in every movie he's in? Anyway, I love The Martian. Ridley Scott, You know, what is he, 80 years old now? And he's still directing, and directing this good? This is one of his best movies. And it's one of Matt Damon's best movies. This is another movie that I could put in the kitchen and just let it play. And I remember... all right. I'm sorry that the memory card on my computer filled up, or camera filled up, and so I had to replace it. Anyway, we're back. I was talking about Martian, and I watched this a lot during COVID because, you know, I was stuck at home, like most people, and it kind of felt like I was marooned the way Matt Damon was marooned on Mars. And so I watched this a lot, just kind of for, you know, for therapy. So anyway, it's a really well-made movie. It's long, but it's so well done. I don't know what to talk about. It's just really good. This is why I can't do a podcast about movies. Yeah, I don't know how to verbalize my thoughts. Margin Call. Okay, Margin Call. Margin Call is one of those movies. It's an office movie. It's about the 2008 crisis. It's got the cast, my lord, the cast is stacked, very stacked cast. You know, it takes place in one location. It's got all the things that I like. It also does something that I really enjoy. It's methodical. It all happens at one night, which inspires me because, you know, my novel takes place in one night. Passionate Pancakes, shameless plug. And it's methodical. It just goes moment by moment by moment by moment throughout the night and follows all these characters, how they're going to do something, and they piece it together little bit by bit. There's rarely a big cut where we're going to, you know, an hour later. No, minute by minute by minute this movie goes through. It's just methodical, and that's what I thought when I first came out of it. And gosh, it's good. It's so well done. I mean, when the Spock actor, I can't remember his name. Oh, golly, what's his name? Zachary Quinto. I'm so sorry. When Zachary Quinto pulls out the earbuds and he realizes the significance of what the secret he just discovered about the company and how they all need to really get to the office now and solve this problem immediately. The music in that moment, that's the best moment in the whole movie. And then afterwards, it's just like, okay, are they really going to do this? Are they really going to make such a dramatic, drastic action? And how they plan that? And are you for them? And what would you do in this situation? And and it's another one, a lot of research, a lot of interesting information about how much they make and how they spend their money and how they do things behind the scenes. And it's just, Margin Call is one of those best 2008 movies. And Rewatchables podcast also did an episode on Margin Call that's really good. Top Gun Maverick, sequel to Top Gun. So much better than the first one and so much better than I thought it was going to be. I did not see it in the theater. I got a pretty big sized TV, so I saw it on that and I thought that'd be good enough. I don't much like going to the theater anymore. Nothing wrong with theaters, but I've gone to them my whole life and I don't want to sit through 20 trailers. I don't want to listen to other people's cell phones. I'd much rather wait for the movie to come out on Blu-ray and I'll rent it or see it then. And sorry, but I waited about a year, you know, until this came out on Blu-ray, and then I saw it, and it lived up to the hype. It's so good. I mean, you know, the ending is kind of like the trench run in Star Wars, but it's done exactly as it should have been done. And it hit every note perfectly. And, you know, this is the director who did Oblivion, which was okay. But he also did Tron Legacy, which was great in the first half, kind of boring in the second half, but very talented director. And I have not seen F1, which I guess he directed also. But Maverick, yeah, one of the best movies of the past 25 years. Star Trek, okay, yeah. Another J.J. Abrams movie. So I think J.J. Abrams did Mission Impossible 3, and then I think he did this. Did he do something else in between? I don't know. But I'm never going to get it back in the thing. All right, Star Trek. Oh my God, this is so good. Right from the beginning. I mean, The opening of Star Trek. When did this come out? 2009. The opening scene, the opening first 10, 15 minutes is just like, had me riveted, and I was emotionally involved, and it was cool, and look at all the lasers and the battles, and then she has the baby, and they're crying, and I'm crying, and I'm emotionally involved, and he risked his life, and the epic title sequence comes on, and then they cut to the Beastie Boys and young Kirk Bright stealing the car, and he goes off the cliff, and it's just like, what is happening? It's just so, it's an emotional roller coaster. That first 15 minutes is just unbelievable. It's almost like Speed and Unstoppable, but this is even better. Because right from the first minute, you are in it. And it just goes and goes and goes and goes and does not stop until the very end. It's so good. And I actually like the sequel, Star Trek Into Darkness. I actually like that one. I think it's got a lot of good stuff to it. But this one, phenomenal. One of the best movies of the past 25 years. Star Trek. I love JJ. I don't know what JJ's doing now. You know, I'm not a fan of the third, or the last Star Wars movie that they did. Revenge of the no, the Last Skywalker or something like that. I was not a fan of that, but he was put in a very bad situation, so I don't think it's completely his fault. He did the best with what he could, with what he had. But, you know, Force Awakens was good, but Star Trek and Mission Impossible 3 is just so freaking good. All right, we are at number 4, Devil Wears Prada. Office. Great screenplay. I am so looking forward to the sequel, Devil Wears Prada 2. I don't know what they could possibly do or what they're going to do, but I remember watching on Instagram them filming in the streets, all those, you know, behind the scenes stuff that people were filming, and I was very excited. And I bought this at Borders Books, which is no longer around. So, and I bought it for $29.99. That's how much I wanted it, because I was willing to pay $29.99 for this. But Devil Wears Prada is, or did I get it? Oh, I got it on sale for $19.99. But I digress. What a great movie. For all the reasons that you like it, I like it too. It's so good, and I can't wait for the sequel. Avengers Endgame. Yeah, the best Avengers movie. I like silverware. I like Avengers silverware. I like Civil War, and I like the third or second Captain America movie. Don't remember that one. It was called, but the Endgame. Oh yeah, of course. It's just fantastic. It's got every character in it. It's got a fantastic ending. It's got, you know, stuff I didn't think was happen, and you know, it puts characters together in teams that I didn't. That's an unusual team pairing. That's really cool to see them together, and it's. I love it for every reason that you love it. Avengers Endgame. It's the end. Well, I guess it's not the end, but it's the final, you know, climactic movie of, you know, what, 20 movies before that? A 20 movie build-up to Endgame. It's unheard of in movie history. Bridesmaids. We're at number 2 of my favorite movies, favorite 25 movies of the past 25 years. Bridesmaids, the unrated version. I don't know what the rated version is, but the unrated version is great. Again, cast commentary on DVD. This is very funny. It's got all the characters, all the cast, all the actors, and the director all talking throughout the movie. One of the greatest screenplays. I mean, roller coaster of emotions and humor and everything. And again, I love it for every reason you love it. The scenes at the wedding dress store. And I like the love story between Annie and the guy, the police officer. And it's just so John Hamm. It's so good. It's so good. Yeah. It's very rare that you get a movie written this well, performed this well, directed this well. This is one of a kind. One of the best movies of the past 25 years. And then my favorite movie of the past 25 years, I've talked about it before, I'm going to say it again. This is number 1. Ocean's 11. I love this more than any other movie. I love it. Soderbergh knows how to tell a story. He tells it so well. All those characters. You know, they're robbing a casino. What's better than a heist? What I like more than an office movie is a movie about a heist. And all these characters, this is the best heist movie ever. I mean, it's classy. They're in Vegas. It's fun to look at. It's, you know, spectacle, but it's funny, and it's got them, how they're going to do this, and they show all the recon work of inner workings of how they're going to do it and pull it off, and they barely pull it off, and are they going to pull it off? And oh, they forgot batteries. If they hadn't remembered batteries, this whole thing would have screwed up. And oh, that's the reason they're doing the heist. And there's nothing better than Ocean's 11. I absolutely love it. This is my top favorite movie probably of all time. Casablanca is my number one. This is my number two. Back to the Future is my number three favorite movies of all time. Anyway, that's it. Those are my favorite 25 movies of the past 25 years. And I would love to hear your comments about any of them. And whether you agree with me, disagree with me, what did I leave off the list that you think should be added? And anyway, thanks for hanging out with me. This is a long episode. I can tell, because I ran out of space on the memory card. So anyway, thanks for hanging out with me this time. And I'd love to read your comments. And man, aren't DVDs and movies awesome? Freaking love them. Anyway, I will see you next week for another fun video. All right, have a good week.